Welcome back, pre-calc students. Now example 2, the final example of the day, on circles. So this one is a whole new level of difficulty here. The endpoints of the diameter of the circle is 2, 1, negative 3, 4. And I say whole new level, but it's not over anybody's head. You can do this. The endpoints of the diameter are these 2 points. Find the equation of a circle. Remember, guys, the diameter goes through... I'm just going to do a little junk sketch here. The diameter goes through the center of a circle. So if you know this point and this point, if you find the distance that this line segment is, well, you will find how long the diameter is. Then if you cut that in half, you will find out how long the radius is. Because there's 2 things you need to know in the equation for a circle to get the equation, and that's the radius here and the center. So the center of a line segment is actually its midpoint. So that's the whole reason to use some of these nifty equations here. So we're going to put this all together step by step. So step 1 is to find the distance from point 2, 1 to negative 3, 4. And we're going to use the distance formula for that. And what's going to make this tough is it's not going to come out all, roses and kittens and stuff, and it's going to be radical stuff and junk. So we'll just have to deal with it. This we'll call x1, y1, x2, and y2. And we're going to plug all that in this up here, this distance formula. So it is x2, which would be negative 3, minus x1, which is 2. Again, if I go too fast or whatever, just pause it, go back, whatever you need to do. y2 minus y1 would just be 4, 4 minus 1, and that's squared as well. And remember, that's a plus sign there. So the next step would be negative 5 squared plus 3 squared, and that is 25 plus 9, which is the square root of 34. And even though that's pretty gross, you're just going to leave it the square root of 34. That's the diameter. So half of the diameter, if I take radical 34, and divide that by 2, that's going to equal the radius. And that's a key component here of this equation. That's part of it. This is my radius right here. So I'm going to put the victorious red box around this. Okay, so I'll come back to that in a minute. That's step 1. Okay, so I got my radius. Step 2 now, which I'll do in a different color, is to find the midpoint. So now I'm going to use the midpoint formula here. And here we go. So that's going to be x1 plus x2. So you basically just add the x's together. So 2 plus negative 3 divided by 2. And then the y's added together would be 1 plus 4 over 2. So that would be negative 1 over 2 and 5 over 2. So negative 1/2 and 5/2. Get my notes together here, would be the midpoint of that. So this would be, remember, even though this is the midpoint, it's also the center of the circle. So this is actually HK of this final equation here. So now what we can do, step 3, I'll do it in black. That's not black, that's pink. So let's try it again, because this is important. Step 3 is to plug all this stuff into the equation. When I say stuff, there should be a victorious rectangle around that as well. What a dork I am. So step 3, we're going to plug that into this equation here. And when I'm doing that, I always like to start off with the equation. So it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And we're going to carefully now put all this in there. So h is negative 1/2. So that's going to be x minus, now watch it, negative 1/2, so that's x plus a half squared, plus y minus 5/2 squared. And that equals, it equals radical 34 over 2, and that is also squared. Because when you have your radius, you have to square it for the equation. Now the left side of this equal sign here is all good to go, right? Nothing I can simplify over here. This right here I can. So let me come over here and work on that. So the square root of 34 over 2 squared would be the square root of 34 times the square root of 34. That's 34 over 2 squared, which is 4. And then, of course, that reduces by 2 to 17 over 2. So this final answer here is all of this minus 5/2 squared, and that is 17 over 2. And this right here is my final answer. That is the equation of a line that passes through, or that is the equation of a circle, rather, in standard form that has the endpoints of the diameter on these 2 points right here. And it's a lot of work, and like I said, if you need to back up and watch that again, go for it. But you guys are going to try these problems now. Have a good day.